Gentlemen, in this video I'm going to show you the fragrances that I'm going to wear the absolute most in this year's 2024 fall and winter seasons. I've already worn these quite a lot, but I'm going to wear them a lot throughout the next few months that are remaining of this year. So let's not waste any more time and let's begin. The first two fragrances that I'm going to mention are going to be ones that I've talked about a lot throughout the last few weeks. Therefore, I'm going to be honorable mentions, and these two are going to be Chopard Oud Malaki and Roja Parfum Qatar Oud Parfum. You already know the drill with this one. This is going to be a very funky, metallic oud cotton candy cashmere fragrance with a lot of citrus and fruity nuances. I've talked about this fragrance a lot recently because this is my first Roja Parfum fragrance, and this one Chopard Oud Malaki, I've also mentioned this quite a lot recently because this one is a designer cheapie that is very easy to wear yet very bold, spicy with tobacco and an oud accord, and for such an affordable price that this comes with, I think it's a no-brainer for the fall and winter seasons. So the first two fragrances, these ones right here. The first true entry for this list is going to be a fragrance that I've wanted for a couple of years now, and one that I finally decided to pull the trigger on, and that is Yves Saint Laurent Bellechasse 37. In my opinion, this is one of the very best fragrances Yves Saint Laurent has ever released, and there's a few reasons for it. The scent profile here is magnetic, captivating, elegant, and sophisticated. This has orris root as a note, an ingredient that gives this fragrance very powdery and creamy sensation, but it's backed up by some resinous element, which gives this fragrance some ambery resinous touches and some smokiness as well, combined with an intense accord, and there's some oud essence here as well. It gives you this woody, dark complexity on top of the already very sophisticated and elegant scent profile that in the end gives you this very complex, deep, dark sensation of a scent that is, in my opinion, perfect to wear in the fall winter seasons. This is sophisticated, elegant, and classy, but at the same time very mysterious, deep, sensual, dark, and in the end a very complex and interesting scent. On my skin, I get 8 to 10 hours of longevity with around an arm's length of projection for the first 2 hours or so, but I get accustomed to the scent profile after an hour of wearing. But I know that other people can smell it because I've gotten a lot of compliments and comments about the scent still lingering in the air after a couple of hours. I think this is one of the best fragrances Yves Saint Laurent has ever made, and I think it is perfect as a signature scent, especially whenever it's cold outside. And I've given Yves Saint Laurent Bellechasse 37 a 9.4 out of 10 minutes improvement rating. I've wanted this fragrance for such a long time, and I finally decided to pull the trigger on it, and I haven't regretted it ever since. I simply love this fragrance, and I've already worn it a heck of a lot since I've gotten it around a month ago. The second fragrance here is going to be a 10 out of 10, and that is Dior Tobacolor. I've praised this fragrance for a couple of years now, and it's because it is a masterpiece in my opinion. This is going to be very strong, dense, thick, sweet, and ambery with a honey accord that is made perfectly, and combined with the ambery touches here, it just fills a room. It's insanely dense and very strong, and the different types of tobacco here give you this very spicy tobacco feeling that is nearly unmatched in any other tobacco fragrance. And there's also some slight peachy sweetness in there as well from a peach accord that is very minor but sometimes noticeable. But mostly this is going to be an insanely strong, very ambery, sweet honey tobacco fragrance that is insanely thick and dense. On my skin, this fragrance lasts over 14 hours, and projection is around 1 to 2 meters, if not more, depending on how much you decide to spray. One of the very best tobacco fragrances and one of the very best honey tobacco fragrance combinations in any fragrance out there, and in my opinion it is a no-brainer for a 10 out of 10 minutes improvement rated fragrance. So that was Dior Tobacolor. On the third spot is one of my first full bottle niche fragrances, and that is Francesca Bianchi Tyger. This has quickly become one of my go-tos for the fall and winter season Seasons because it is such a dense, thick, honey type of fragrance that is long-lasting, well-projecting, and super unique. This has a peach accord and a honey accord that goes very well together. It gives you this honey, peach, fruity sweetness that is very captivating and strong, while at the same time being very dense, thick, and very well projecting, with some raw materials like patchouli, some oud, and some leather to give you this very thick, resinous, ambery sensation, with some leathery smoothness and some heliotrope to give you some floral lift there as well. I think this is such a great fragrance, especially if you like very complex fragrances and something that can be very dominant and very polarizing. But if you want a honeyed peach fragrance with some other contrasting nuances, I definitely think this one is a go-to for that. I simply catch myself wearing this fragrance over and over again, many days in a row, because I really enjoy how this smells. This fragrance lasts me between 10 to 12 hours with around an arm's length of projection that becomes a mild skin scent after a few hours or so. I have given Francesca Bianchi Tyger a 9.5 out of 10 minutes improvement rating. On the 4th spot I have a 2-in-1, and that is going to contain the Swiss Arabian Shaghaf Oud Tonka concentrated perfume oil and the Eau de Parfum together. This scent DNA is super delicious and strong, but combined you're going to get this insanely delicious, sweet, dense scent DNA that is very captivating, compliment pulling, and overall mouth watering. In my opinion, this fragrance, and especially paired up with the concentrated perfume oil, is one of the very best fragrances you can ever pick up from the Middle Eastern fragrance market. This fragrance is going to smell a lot like marzipan with some vanilla and tonka in the base to give you this very sweet, vanilla-y, sugary sweetness, combined with some amber wood to give you this very dense, amplified scent profile. And there's also going to be some cinnamony spiciness, some Turkish rose, and at the top of the fragrance you're also going to get some almondy nuttiness that also gives off some slight sweet cherryness to add some more complexity to the fragrance's scent profile. Overall, I think this is a mouth-watering, delicious scent DNA that is very compliment pulling in my experience, and one that I really love wearing, especially when amplified with the concentrated perfume oil underneath the fragrance here. On my skin I get 8 to 10 hours of longevity, but when paired up with the concentrated perfume oil I get 10 to 12 hours, and projection wise I get around an arm's length of projection for a couple of hours, which then dries to a moderate and Indian mild skin scent. I've given Swiss Arabian Shaghaf Oud Tonka an 8.9 out of 10 minutes improvement rating, and the perfume oil I've given an 8.8 out of 10 minutes improvement rating. Together these are almost unbeatable, especially for the price. It's such a delicious fragrance right here. You really can't go wrong with these two here. And the 5th fragrance that I want to mention that I'm going to wear a lot this fall winter season is one that I have a huge 150 ml bottle of, and that is Gucci Guilty Absolute. Very polarizing and unique fragrance for a designer house to make. I really enjoy it actually. This is going to be very woody, aromatic, and very leather dominant. This right here, I've gotten comments of smelling like a tattoo parlor, but overall you're going to get this very woody, slightly medicinal leather type scent with some green cypress here as well. And there's also some patchouli and vetiver to give you this very dry, woodsy feeling that in the end gives you this very woody, dark, slightly medicinal, but mostly leather dominant fragrance with some green, woodsy, dry nuances. This is not for everyone, so if you can try it, definitely do so. I really like it because it is very different and not something conventional of designers to release nowadays. I also think this smells very good, very unique, and also lasts long. And speaking of lasting power, on my skin Gucci Guilty Absolute lasts 8 to 10 hours with around an arm's length of projection for a couple of hours, which then dries to a moderate and Indian mild skin scent. I've given Gucci Guilty Absolute Homme an 8.4 out of 10 minutes improvement rating, and if you can try it, definitely do, to see if this fragrance is something for you, because I definitely like wearing it. Gentlemen, that was a total of 7 fragrances that I'm going to wear a lot this fall winter seasons. What do you think? Do you like this list? Do you dislike this list? Do you have some go-to fragrances for the colder seasons of fall and winter? I would love to see what you have to say down there in the comment section below, especially if you have some fragrance recommendations for me to either give a try, review, or to smell in general. Also, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to the Men's Improvement YouTube channel for more videos about fragrances, grooming, style, fashion, skincare, fitness, watches, everything. It'll make you, gentlemen, the best possible versions of yourselves. Last few things that I want to ask you, gentlemen, is to smile more because it's free, and I want you to watch these 2 videos right here. This one here below is going to be my latest upload, whereas this one up here is going to be a video that the YouTube algorithm thinks you will enjoy.